The Big Ideas platform is a thought leadership initiative that's been developed by the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, which is an unconventional school that's designed to attract, develop and also produce a new generation of political leaders who will listen and serve the new class of citizens who know their rights. The Big Ideas platform aims to promote dialogue, collaboration and action to address the present challenges faced by African communities.
My name is Cameron Apollo. Welcome to the Big Ideas Platform podcast. On this episode of the Big Ideas Platform podcast, we'll be speaking with Oluseun Badejo, a project officer at the Basel Convention Coordinating Center for Training and Technology Transfer for the Africa region. Sounds like a mouthful, but it's a very important organization, I assure you. So Oluseun holds a bachelor's degree in applied geophysics from the Federal University of Technology and a master's degree in geochemistry. He's a project implementation specialist with nearly a decade of experience in delivering sustainability-focused projects within the Africa region. Oluseun's passion for innovation led him to spearhead the groundbreaking SPPG blockchain project during his time as a student, with the purpose of creating a system or service to help the school's administration, the students, and also third parties verify the credentials of SPPG alumni. Oluseun, once again, thank you so much for coming to share your big idea with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Cameron. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let's jump right in from the start. What is blockchain? Let's start from there.
Okay, in simple terms, blockchain is a ledger. Basically, it's a record. It's a record of transactions or any type of information that is kept in more than one place, such that you cannot tamper with one or make changes to one without making changes to every other copy. So you have a ledger, a record, that a copy of that same record is kept on several computers at the same time. And it is impossible to make a change to one without making changes to every other one, which makes it secure. Interesting.
So again, just like my organization, we do a lot of exchange of information, and as journalists concerned, the ability to access that information in a very timely and convenient manner is very important to us. So we use a platform where we work on one document that is visible to all, and all can, have access to that document. So it's that sort of thing. If I make a change, then it's changed on everybody's platform, everyone who has access to that document, and they will be aware of the change. Am I correct?
Yes, not exactly. Now, blockchain is not applicable to every form of. We have what blockchain specifically can be used for is for information that you want to write and store in the same format without making any changes to it. So something like that will not exactly fit into blockchain. Something that is edited on a continuous basis. So basically, that's why blockchain is more suited for financial transactions, certificates, things that you write and you don't want to make any changes. So you just want to keep them the way they are and ensure that nobody can tamper with them.
Oh, right. Okay. So basically, it's like what I described, only this time without the ability to edit. Once the document has been prepared, it is shared as it is across board. So if somebody shows up and says, this is my copy, and there's a difference in the information they have with mine, then I suspect there's something wrong with their documents. They've done something to it.
Exactly.
Okay. So in the intro, I mentioned your work with blockchain at the School of Policy, Politics and Governance, the SPPG project. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Basically, what we did in that project was that we basically most institutions in Nigeria issue paper certificates on graduation, basically, and you get a copy of your certificate or whatsoever, and it may get lost. if it gets lost and maybe some years down the line, you need to have it verified, or maybe you apply for employment somewhere, or you need to use it for something, and you submit a copy. Whoever you give that copy to needs to get back to the school to be able to verify that it's true. And that's usually a very time-consuming process. It's usually not easy. The results don't usually come on time. Usually when you're applying for things like scholarships and things that are time-bound, you usually have issues. Sometimes you request for something like a transcript or something like that, and you are it's like a black box. You don't know what's happening. You don't know at what stage is there, and you don't know, and you have a deadline to meet and all of that. So what we decided to do at the SPPG was to use blockchain technology to be a medium where we can write our SPPG certificates. The school will write the certificates onto the blockchain, but give access to the students to be able to share. So basically, we can't change the certificate, but you have access to it and you can share it. And you also have full control when you share the certificate in terms of what you do is when you share the certificate, you send sort of a QR code to university or whoever it is that wants to verify, and you can determine the amount of time you want them to be able to view it. So basically, you have control of your data. We wanted students to be able to have control because that's one of the ethos of SPPG, innovation and the fact that we are an unconventional school of politics. We lead the way. And I'm not aware of any Nigerian institution that's doing this. And I think that it's something that the Big Ideas platform, the very ethos of the Big Ideas that talks about the fact that power should be distributed. There should be agency given to citizens. We need to embody that at the SPPG. It was important that we embodied that. And that's why this project was important, because if students graduate from SPPG and they don't have full data autonomy, they still need to make recourse back to the school to have their certificates verified. It can cause a problem. So we're looking at, okay, how can we, leave out the ethos of SPPG, even, in the certificate verification process of SPPG, which is why we came up with that idea, such that you have full autonomy with your data. It's just like your transcript, for example. It's your transcript, it's your results, but you are held to ransom by every traditional institution if you want to get access to it. So blockchain stops that problem. It gives it gives the school a platform to write the certificate and release ownership to you, and because they know that you cannot alter it. And also the third parties also know that whatever they are viewing on the blockchain is what the school wrote there. So all parties are satisfied as to data security as is required.
Okay, that's interesting. Already it's solving some of the problems you talked about, authenticity, timely communication of very, very critical information, and also ownership to the person who's done the academic or intellectual work in obtaining their certification. Okay, now, Oluseun, you've got a background in geophysics, geochemistry, so it leads me to my next question. What motivated your interest in blockchain technology? How did it happen?
I went to University of Technology, so, basically, and I've never always narrowed myself to what I studied. I've always been a technology enthusiast, and always been interested in tech. I follow tech closely, and I always follow the latest developments in tech and all of that. So when blockchain technology came along and cryptocurrency, which is what most people know blockchain for, because blockchain is the same system on which cryptocurrencies are issued. So, there was that whole crypto craze and all of that. So I got interested in cryptocurrency and blockchain as well. I studied it. I looked at the various applications, and I always wanted to do something with blockchain, so I've always been interested in technology. So when we came to the SPPG, I spoke about this at the Big Ideas platform. We were in a class taken by Dr. Andrew Nevin, and he was talking about blockchain and about the potentials, about how it could transform Nigeria and all of that. And in the middle of his lecture, he stopped and he was like, okay, if any of you wants to create a certificate verification system for SPPG, I used to be an angel investor, but I'm retiring soon. But for this one idea, I'll be willing to come back and of course, like I said, I wanted to always do something. So the light bulb just came on. I was like, this is what I've been looking for. So I got in touch with him. He linked us up with Sterling Bank, VX Technologies, who are the partners of the program, who provided technical and financial support So I put together a team of volunteers, and we made it happen. So basically, that's how it happened.
Interesting. Well, we do live in a very, very, dynamic world. We are in a constant state of dynamism, not just as a race, but if we look at national development as well. Today's innovation is tomorrow's history. That's the pace of the advancement of technology, and it does come with certain challenges, especially in the developing world. Some of these challenges have been identified to be infrastructure and so on and so forth. Are we poised, in your opinion? Is the Nigerian system, the African system, because we're talking about the African Renaissance, is the African system primed to take full advantage of this concept, blockchain technology?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that we are in dire need of something like this. We are. Whether you look at academic credentials is just one application. Financial inclusion is another. Speed of transactions. You understand? Banking, the unbanked. There are several problems in the developing world right now. The current technology framework that we use in the banking system currently has its challenges. In terms of speed of verification of transactions, the internet, our internet penetration is not where it should be. There are several challenges that blockchain technology can mitigate, so to say, or can help with. Even in things like our elections. We know the issue of elections in Africa. We need when you write results and they are transmitted, and the other end you see something else. We need a tamper-proof system. If we're going to have credible elections. So I think from the standpoint of a need, we need that. We need this technology. We need it because we need that standard of truth that everybody can trust. We know that we need that. We need that trust framework in Africa. Whether it's our financial systems, educational systems, and we need that framework of trust. On the technology side, I would say that yes, because I would say blockchain technology I think, and Dr. Andrew was talking about in his lecture that blockchain technology could also you could use the what's it called again? I think the SMS type of system. You could scale it down to the point where you don't need full internet access to actually leverage on that, which is something that we will be useful to us in Africa. He was talking about I think he was talking about using the example of the e-naira, and they were able to implement it on a feature, not a smartphone now, it's just your regular phone using the
USSD codes.
Yes, thank you. USSD codes. You understand? You could integrate blockchain into that, and I mean, it will make a world of a difference. So I think we are in need of it, and I think it's something that is doable within our context. Even looking at technological challenges, we can leverage on it. It's possible.
Okay, let me just take a shot in the dark. And we are constantly talking about governance here in Africa. Can blockchain affect governance in Africa positively, such that it can help us improve our way of life?
If for example, you went for an election, and we all voted, and our votes were cast and registered in a blockchain system, if they were transmitted, you would be sure that what is counting on the other side, in the server or whatever, is exactly what we voted for. Now, from a governance standpoint, that makes a whole lot of difference, and several other aspects as well. Even in our government services, where we need to, you look at a situation where you have your driver's license, you have all kinds of identification, and somehow all these are separate databases, and there's always one issue or the other.
Interesting. Okay. So it is really as basic as that, isn't it? It's just a matter of designing and structuring your blockchain to suit whatever function you want it to carry. And once that is decided upon, it goes on autopilot with what I assume minimum supervision or oversight by humans.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, we'll go on a short break now. When we return, I'll be asking Oluseun about what he thinks the face of blockchain will be in Nigeria and Africa over the next 5 years. We'll be back.
The Big Ideas platform is a thought leadership initiative that's been developed by the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, which is an unconventional school that's designed to attract, develop and also produce a new generation of political leaders who will listen and serve the new class of citizens who know their rights. The Big Ideas platform aims to promote dialogue, collaboration and action to address the present challenges faced by African communities.
Welcome back to the Big Ideas Platform podcast. I'm here speaking with Mr. Oluseun Badejo. He holds a bachelor's degree in applied geophysics as well as a master's degree in geochemistry. And we are talking about his big idea of using blockchain to improve the quality of lives of Africans, not just Nigerians. He's talked to us about what blockchain is and has given some practical examples. Now I'd like to turn us to the idea, the future of blockchain. So, Oluseun, where do you see blockchain on the African continent over the next 5 years?
Well, you know how they say it's difficult to predict the future. And somehow in Africa, we have a way of, things just, I don't know, sometimes have a way of just taking longer than they should. When it comes to technology, we seem to lag behind. But I'm hoping that with blockchain technology, because like I said earlier, it is a technology that can solve many of the problems that we experience. So I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, our government's being proactive. It will impact areas like education, for example. We have a teeming population of young Africans, and there are just not enough jobs on the African continent. The job market is global now with technology, and with the right set of skills, our young people can, play in the global marketplace. And to be able to do that, if they have certifications, they have degrees, blockchain is a way that those it's going to make it easy for those certificates, those are academic skills or whatever it is they've acquired to be verified easily, so that they can play in that space. So I'm hoping that in terms of education, blockchain will play a significant role over the next 5 years. And in the area of financial inclusion as well, a lot of the African continent is unbanked. A lot of people need financial services. A lot of people need loans, need credit facilities, which there are several challenges as to why this is difficult. How to identify people, how to verify their identity, how to seamlessly transmit those funds to them, in remote areas and all of that. Those are the challenges that are there. But blockchain, like I said, creates that framework of trust, creates that framework of authenticity, and can provide that speed in the transaction process.
Blockchain is basically driven by information, and the more credible the information is, the stronger the integrity of the process becomes, because it's basically garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. It's what you put up there. Once you've put something up there, it will be held as it was presented, without being altered, and so on and so forth. So it brings me back to the quality of the information. And what would you say to Nigerians who are a bit concerned about, let's say, our identity management infrastructure in the country, for example? We still haven't gotten it right, have we?
On a particular blockchain record, you can have so much information, but when you are passing it through a verification system or whatever, the person verifying the information doesn't have to see all that information. What they can just do is to maybe scan the QR code and verify that you are who you say you are, and you have the credentials that you claim that you have. They don't necessarily have to see your name, you understand. So where institutions might be concerned about the fact that, I don't want people to know this about me, or we don't want to reveal, maybe the immigration doesn't want to reveal to the voters, the INEC, what your information is. The information is there and it is encrypted. And that's one thing that I failed to mention. The information on blockchain is encrypted. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh yes, I do. It's like having a social security number abroad. In the UK, and it's when you hit 18, you get one from the government. So once you have that number, you are verified by that number. Your other details, your religion, your this, that, the other, where they are secondary and they are not, publicized at every given instance. The number
Yes.
itself is the identity. It says your details have been captured. You are an authentic citizen, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. So that would be able to be moved across several platforms, and I think that will go a long way to help.
Okay, let's bring it now to the private sector by way of enterprise business, because the state of the economy on the continent is one that gives cause for concern. Not just the continent, globally, the economy is going through a challenge, isn't it? And we here in the developing world, in Africa, we have it rougher than some other parts of the world. So I'd like you to talk to us about the application of blockchain to businesses, enterprise, and how it can be a profitable thing. We're looking at the bottom line of blockchain now. If I, as a business owner, embrace blockchain, what does that do for the bottom line, for my pockets, for my bank balance?
Okay. For example, I mentioned the issue of procurement, supply chain. You can trace with blockchain technology. You're able to sort of verify the authenticity of what you purchase. And you're able to track that along that value chain and ensure that it's not been tampered with. And also, if you're a supplier, payments can be set, I wouldn't say, automated, so to say. If you and if, for example, it's speed of transaction, basically. That's always good for business. They say money is time is money. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
So the longer something takes, to verify, the longer, and trust is also a currency. When people don't trust each other, less business happens. Blockchain can speed up all those processes, and make business happen faster. And once business happens faster, you're saving time. You're definitely going to be saving money.
All right. Now, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to start a career in this field, blockchain? You're a biophysicist, a biochemist. Now you're a blockchain expert. You've come up with a solution to a very, very widespread problem. How does somebody get on board? If somebody listening or watching this podcast now is interested, what do they need to do? Okay.
Well, there are two sides to it. If, for example, you don't want to get into computer science, you don't want to become a programmer, because blockchain is like you can write code the way you write code for websites and other applications. Blockchain is also has its own I think one of the programming languages you can use to write blog is called Solidity. That's used for smart contracts. It's something related to block. There are several other programming languages that you can learn to write. To design blockchains frameworks, so to say. So if you're a computer scientist, you could become a blockchain developer. There are several languages that's on the technical side now. You could become a blockchain developer. You could go online and look for blockchain. Can be written in several languages. I'm not a computer scientist, so I'm not really on the technical side. I can't speak too much. I just know a bit about that. But I know you can become you could learn to design blockchain frameworks using several computer languages. That's on the technical side. But also on the other side, maybe the more business, science. There are several applications, like I said, to blockchain. So what basically you could do is to look at what you do as a person and find out, okay, how can you integrate blockchain into what you do? Where are the pain points in your business? Where is trust an issue? Where do you need information to be transmitted without being tampered with? So basically, in your industry, look out for those emerging areas. And if you're on the technical side, like I said, think of how you can learn to program code to build blockchain frameworks.
As we come to the close now, I will ask you to speak to anyone watching this podcast now. I'd like you to put a question to them. You could challenge them to do something, or you could speak to the authorities, and you could also send them a message on what you would like to see them do to help move your big idea forwards? You have the floor.
To our policymakers, I would like to say that the federal government of Nigeria under the last administration came up with the Nigerian blockchain policy. That policy is out there. It's been, we need to give credit to government when they do the right thing. So I'm not the kind of person that just bashes governments, whichever, but when the government does the right thing, I think we should acknowledge it. That policy is out. The government has a policy on blockchain, has several stakeholders that are already been identified. Basically, I'm saying to the authorities, let's take that policy that the government has put on ground and let's go and implement it. That policy, I've looked at it. I've looked at the mission. The vision is robust. It addresses many of the issues that we have as a country. We can start from there. And it covers several sectors. Where blockchain can really make an impact. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. The government has, basically, I'm just telling the government, you have that policy. Please go and implement it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time as well, Oluseun Badejo. It's been very, very informative. I have learned a lot. You have certainly piqued my curiosity. And now is to go and do, thankfully I'm a journalist, some more research and digging to elevate my knowledge on this so I can do my part of spreading the words using our platforms. But thank you so much for featuring on the Big Ideas platform.
It's podcast. A pleasure. I really enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
The Big Ideas platform is a thought leadership initiative that's been developed by the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, which is an unconventional school that's designed to attract, develop and also produce a new generation of political leaders who will listen and serve the new class of citizens who know their rights. The Big Ideas platform aims to promote dialogue, collaboration and action to address the present challenges faced by African communities.